According to Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, no one can fight corruption for Nigerians except Nigerians. Everyone from the top to the bottom must get involved. Let's join hands with the EFCC to eradicate corruption. Hello and thanks for joining us on another episode of The Eagle. My name is Aisha Muhammad.
Imagine a society where everything works. Durable road networks, stable electricity supply, portable water, well-equipped and functional healthcare facilities, quality education for all, affordable housing schemes, social security benefits, job creation, and a lot more that makes life comfortable to live. That is an ideal society. We can only achieve these if we all play our part. Say no to corruption to enjoy these benefits. Kill corruption to save Nigeria. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
On the program today, court orders final forfeiture of $40.4 million, £27,800, 23.2 million naira to the federal government. U.S. government to offer training to EFCC media staff on effective communication. Magu urges the youth to be standard bearers of corruption war. 5 million bribe. Court admits more evidence against Ofili Ajimogobia. As EFCC rearranges ex-FCT minister's son for 1.2 billion naira fraud. This and more will come your way right after this timeout.
My name is Colonel Hamid Umar Mali, and I am here stating strongly that I stand against corruption, and I urge each and every one of us as Nigerians to first and foremost extract ourselves and ensure that corruption is an area that we must all fight in order to eradicate it and get our country back on track.
Public participation and citizens' engagement has been identified as a major tool in the fight against corruption and promotion of accountability and transparency in Nigeria. This was the admonition of some speakers at the launch of the U.S. government-funded project on law enforcement and public engagement in Nigeria, which held in Abuja. Zainab Sani Ahmad tells us more.
The Clean Foundation, in partnership with the United States U.S. Embassy in Abuja, engaged staff of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and officers of the Nigerian Police Force, NPF, at the formal launch of its project tagged Effective Communication and Public Relations for Nigeria Law Enforcement Agencies. According to Benson Olubuo, Clean's executive director, the project was a realization of the fact that law enforcement agencies in the country, particularly the EFCC and the police, need to build trust with the public.
This program seeks to strengthen law enforcement relations with citizenry through improved and effective communication, thus improving transparency and accountability for their actions. It seeks to build trust between the public and the police and other anti-graft agencies like the EFCC. We bring the transparency in efforts to provide security and protect sensitive issues while also protecting the legal rights of the accused person.
Olubuo, who used the platform to intimate participants about various projects already executed by the foundation, hinted that the EFCC and the police were chosen for the pilot phase of the project based on the fact that the EFCC has been very active in citizen engagement and the complaints response unit of the police has been transformed into a public complaint rapid response unit. He added that the project would ensure that 50 officials of the police and 16 EFCC officials will be trained in effective communication. The aim is to ensure that they gain and advance their skills for improved and effective communication with the public towards increasing transparency and accountability, he said, noting that the project would be extended to other security agencies in the future. In his remarks, Aruna Amirchanayagam, Chancellor Public Affairs of the U.S. Mission to Nigeria, noted that the project would strengthen criminal justice law in the country. He said the project is structured to help enhance cooperation and build trust among citizens in order to make Nigeria a better place, noting that citizen participation was essential to winning the war against corruption.
Over the past year, the U.S. Embassy has been working closely with civil society, Nigeria Police Force, and the EFCC on various initiatives to enhance government transparency, improve security, and investigate and prosecute complex financial crimes. This project supports those efforts by enhancing communication with the public and building trust with law enforcement organizations. I applaud the police and the EFCC's participation in anti-corruption and local government activities over the past year. Participation in initiatives such as the Open Government Partnership demonstrates commitment to fighting corruption and reaffirms law enforcement agencies' duty to make Nigeria a better place for all its citizens.
The acting chairman of the EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, who was represented by the Commission's Secretary, Emmanuel Aremu, commended the Foundation and the U.S. Embassy for its unrelenting support for the EFCC, noting that it will key into the project. Aremu said there is an urgent need for citizen participation in the fight against corruption because while the EFCC does its best, it still needs members of the society to adequately key into the anti-corruption crusade. He used the opportunity to intimate participants of the various efforts by the anti-graft agencies to rid the country of economic and financial crimes. The event had in attendance representative of the Inspector General of Police, staff of the EFCC, officers of the police force, and the media. Zainab Sani Ahmed reporting for the Eagle.
Corruption is dishonesty and illegal behavior by people in positions of trust. A public office is a public trust. Do not abuse positions of trust for private gains. Stay away from corruption. Nigeria is a great nation, and it is our responsibility to make the country greater. If you notice any act of corruption, please report to the EFCC via info@efccnigeria.org or call 09 904 4751 or 09 904 4752. You can also call 09 904 4753. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
Justice Muslim Hassan of the Federal High Court sitting in Ikoyi, Lagos, has ordered the final forfeiture of $40.4 million, 27,800 pounds, 23.2 million naira recovered in an apartment at the Osborne Road, Ikoyi, Lagos, to the federal government. Golden Omura tells us more on this.
Operatives of the EFCC had on Wednesday, April 12, 2017, stormed a 4-bedroom apartment of the 7th floor of Osborne Towers located on 16 Osborne Road, Ikoyi, Lagos, where the large sums of money were uncovered. The operation followed a whistleblower confidential alert received by the Commission's office in Lagos in the early hours of April 12, 2017. Consequently, the Commission on April 13, 2017 obtained an interim court order forfeiting the funds to the federal government. In his ruling, Justice Muslim had given 14 days for anyone interested in the funds to appear before him to show cause why the money should not be permanently forfeited to the federal government. At the next adjourned date on May 5, 2017, counsel to the EFCC, Rotimi Oyedepo, had revealed that the wife of the embattled Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ayo Oke, paid the sum of $1.658 million to acquire the husband flat. Oke was also said to have made the cash payment in tranches of $700,000, $650,000, and $353,700 to a Bureau de Change, Solar Petroleum and Gas Limited, which later converted the money to 360 million naira and subsequently paid it to Fine and Country Limited for the purchase of the property. Oyedepo argued that the circumstances leading to the discovery of the huge cash stockpiled in Flat 7B, Osborne Towers, leaves no one in doubt that the act was pursuant to an unlawful activity. The very act of making cash payment of $1.6 million without going through any financial institution by Mrs. Fola Shade Oke for the acquisition of the Flat 7B, Osborne Towers, is a criminal act punishable by the Money Laundering Prohibition Amendment Act. While urging the court to order the permanent forfeiture of the funds to the federal government, Oyedepo had also argued that the property which was purchased in a criminal manner made the money recovered therein to be proceeds of unlawful acts. Oyedepo further said that despite the newspaper advertisement of the initial order of April 13, 2017, temporarily forfeiting the money to the federal government, no one showed up in court to show cause why the money should not be permanently forfeited to the federal government. Oyedepo had also drawn the attention of the court to the fact that Chobe Ventures Limited, in whose apartments the huge sums were recovered, did not come to court to challenge the forfeiture order, despite being served with the motion on notice at its registered address of number 18 Ogumodede Street off Allen Avenue, Ikeja, Lagos. He therefore urged the court to hold that Chobe Ventures Limited has admitted all the facts deposed to in the affidavit and order the final forfeiture of the property to the federal government. During the proceedings, a private legal practitioner, Olukoya Ogungbeje, had filed an application urging the court to suspend further action in the forfeiture proceedings pending the outcome of the Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo three-man panel constituted by President Muhammadu Buhari to investigate the claim by the NIA boss, Oke, that the money belongs to the agency. However, Oyedepo opposed Ogungbeje's application and urged the court to proceed with the final forfeiture proceedings. In his ruling, Justice Hassan upheld Oyedepo's submission and dismissed Ogungbeje's application for lacking in merit. The judge described the application as totally strange, adding that Ogungbeje had no right to seek a stay of proceedings in the case, since he did not appeal against the interim forfeiture order. The judge, who noted that Ogungbeje was not a party in the suit filed by the EFCC, described the lawyer as a meddlesome interloper and a busybody, adding that his application was strange to law. Thereafter, Justice Hassan gave an order permanently forfeiting the funds to the federal government. Golden Onwura, reporting for the Eagle.
The acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Mustafa Magu, has urged Nigerian youths to be standard bearers of the ongoing war against corruption in the country. Magu stated this at the African Youth Leadership Roundtable Initiative at the National Art Theatre in Gamu, Lagos. Golden Onwura tells us more.
Magu stated that the Commission would not compromise on its resolve to secure the future of Nigerian youths as well as unborn generations by ridding the country of corruption. Speaking at the African Youth Leadership Roundtable Initiative at the National Arts Theatre, Igomu, Lagos, the EFCC chair lamented the fact that Nigerian youths today were at the receiving end of the negative effects of corruption. In his keynote address entitled Youth Action for Change, Magu expressed the hope that the youth would self-mobilize to join hands in the fight against corruption and economic crimes. Magu, who spoke through Garba Dugum, head of operations EFCC Lagos, said, and I quote, "But sadly, this is not the case from where I stand, surveying the Nigerian corruption landscape. At the EFCC, we have done a rough analysis of the corruption complaints that we receive and found out that over 60% of them are against people in the 17 to 50 age bracket, which I understand is a youth bracket." End of quote. He also lamented what he described as a breadth of criminal imagination that the youth deploy in scamming, looting and hiding the proceeds of crimes. According to him, if only half of the energy and ingenuity were deployed in legitimate enterprises, Nigeria would have long been lifted out of the doldrum typical of a failing society. He therefore called on all Nigerians to join hands with the EFCC to have a corrupt-free country. Golden Onwura, reporting for the Eagle.
Corruption is a cankerworm, na cankerworm. I said na cankerworm, na cankerworm. Corruption don't finish our country. Nigeria women rise up and come together, oh yeah.
Every woman come out, but we fight corruption together, oh. Every woman fall out, but we kill corruption together, oh.
Them they thief our money, send them obodo yibo. Children they suffer every day, better school in no day. Nigeria women come, oh, women from every sector, make we fight corruption, we won't kill our country. Them go collect money for light, chop the money, light we no see. Good road and good health and call, we no see. I said na cankerworm, oh, na cankerworm, oh.
Join the EFCC in its crusade to rid Nigeria of corruption. Naija, now we all know.
Justice O.H. Oshodi of the Lagos State High Court Ikeja has admitted in evidence a document tendered by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC against a serving judge of the Federal High Court, Rita Ofuli Ajimogobia. Golden Onwura brings us details on this.
Ofili Ajimogobia is standing trial alongside Godwin Obla, a senior advocate of Nigeria, on a 30-count charge bordering on alleged perversion of the course of justice, unlawful enrichment, and forgery. The defendants allegedly committed the offense on May 21, 2015, when they conspired to pervert the course of justice with a sum of 5 million naira. At the last adjourned sitting on May 26, 2017, counsel to the defendants had opposed the admissibility of the evidence given by a prosecution witness, Tawhid Audu Musa, a former Deputy Controller General of Customs. They had argued that the evidence given by Musa, who is the third prosecution witness, PW3, was not reflected in the charges before them and even the court. Musa had told the court how he was allegedly ordered by his former boss, Diko Inde, a former Controller General of Customs, to give a paper containing Ofili Ajimogobia's Diamond Bank account details to one Musa Omale, with a directive that the sum of 12 million naira that will be transferred to his account should be paid into Ofili Ajimogobia's account. However, in her ruling on the admissibility of the evidence, Justice Oshodi overruled the objection raised by O. Akoni, S.A.N., and Robert Clark, S.A.N., counsel to the first defendant, and Chief Ferdinand O. Obi, S.A.N., counsel to the second defendant, respectively. Justice Oshodi ruled that the witness cannot and should not be rejected from giving evidence in relation to the case. Also in her ruling, Justice Oshodi granted leave to the defendants to seek medical treatment abroad. Counsel to the first defendant, Akoni, had sought the leave of the court to enable his client, Ofili Ajimogobia, who is said to be suffering from high blood pressure and stress-related issues, to travel to the U.S. for urgent medical attention. However, the prosecution counsel, Rotimi Oyedepo, had opposed the application on the grounds that Ofili Ajimogobia might jump bail if allowed to travel outside the country for medical attention. Ruling on the application, the judge held that the first defendant, as a federal high court judge, has a lot to lose if she considers the idea of jumping bail. The judge also stated that the chief registrar is hereby ordered to release the international passport of the first defendant to enable her travel abroad between June 7 and June 13, 2017. The defendant must return the passport to the chief registrar on or before July 1, 2017. Justice Oshodi also granted the second defendant, Obla, leave to travel to Houston, Texas, U.S. for medical treatment. Obla was ordered to return his passport to the chief registrar on July 4, 2017. The case was adjourned to July 6, 2017 for continuation of trial. Golden Onwura reporting for the Eagle.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC has rearranged Shamsuddin Bala, son of a former minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Bala Mohammed, before Justice Nnamdi Dingba of the Federal High Court Abuja on an amended 15-count charge bordering on money laundering. Zainab Sane Ahmed tells us more.
Shamsuddin was rearranged along with 4 companies: Birth Trust Agro Allied Limited, Intertrans Global Logistics Limited, Darkin Telecommunications Limited, and Balvac Mining Nigeria Limited. The amendment, which was effected in counts 10 to 15, according to the prosecution counsel Ben Ikani, was to accommodate new information in the alleged charge brought against them. In one of the amended counts, the prosecution alleged that Bala knowingly failed to declare the sum of over £400 standing to his credit, domicile at Standard Chartered Bank PLC, an offence contrary to Section 27, subsection 1 of the EFCC Act 2004. He was also alleged to have deliberately concealed the sum of over $32,000 and over €17 in same bank, but with different account numbers, while declaring his assets an offence contrary to the EFCC Act and punishable by same. He also allegedly, without going through a financial institution, made cash payments of 200 million naira to Farouk Saleh at Abuja as payment for purchase of House 2A, number 7 Ghana Street, Maitama, Abuja, which exceeded the statutory limit, an offence contrary to the Money Laundering Prohibition Act 2011 as amended in 2012. He pleaded not guilty to the charges when they were read to him. His counsel, Chris Uche SAN, thereafter urged the court to allow him continue to enjoy the bail earlier granted to him on February 3, 2017. Uche further requested for time to study the amended charge dated May 25, 2017, which he said he was only served by the prosecution. Ikani did not oppose his application for bail. Justice Dingba thereafter adjourned to June 26, 2017 for continuation of hearing. Zainab Sani Ahmed reporting for The Eagle. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on June 1, 2017 secured the conviction of one Mesolinos Akochi Ezioke before Justice Lawal Wada of the Kano State High Court on a 1-count charge of obtaining by false pretense. The convict was arraigned on November 25, 2015 and pleaded not guilty to the charge. In the course of the trial, prosecution counsel Douglas I. Gift called 2 witnesses and presented several exhibits to prove the case against the convict. The convict fraudulently obtained the sum of 1,010,000 naira from the complainant by falsely claiming that he was a car dealer based in Cotonou, Benin Republic. Based on that, the complainant sent him the said sum for the purchase of a Peugeot 406, but the convict failed to deliver the vehicle and became incommunicado. In his judgment, Justice Wada held that the prosecution had established the case against the convict beyond reasonable doubt and convicted him on count 2 of the charge. Before the sentence, the convict pleaded for mercy. Consequently, Justice Wada sentenced him to 2 years imprisonment with option of 50,000 naira fine. The convict was also ordered to restitute the sum of 1 million naira to the court. Zainab Sani Ahmed reporting for The Eagle.
That's all we have for you on this episode of The Eagle. Please keep a date with us, same time, same station for another interesting package. Don't forget to drop your comments via our social media portals at Official EFCC across all the social media platforms. And for any information, inquiry or suggestions, please write to The Eagle at efccnigeria.org. You can also send your petitions to info@efccnigeria.org. Before I go, I will leave you with the words of John J. Hooker, who said, "Therefore, until the day I die, I am going to do what I can, regardless of the cost to me, to try to stop this awful corruption that is destroying our beloved democracy. Let's all join hands with President Muhammadu Buhari to kill corruption before it kills our country." My name is Aisha Muhammad. Thank you for watching, and God bless Nigeria.